When I look back in history and when I think about residential school, and my dad went to residential school, and so many children, and they were made to feel unworthy, not good enough, dirty, no good Indian, that if some of the children in New Brunswick can learn that that's not true, that might never happen again.
My name is Matthew Sweezy, and I am the Subject Coordinator of First Nation Education in Anglophone School District North. And I'd like to share with you a program that we are doing called an Elder in Schools program. This program really allows elders to become the teacher and to take on that role in our classrooms to really decolonize the way that we teach our children, to really add aspects of traditional Indigenous knowledge, ways of knowing, ways of understanding, traditional skill sets, language, ceremonies, songs, and all of these things become exposure towards the next generation of our students to be able to build a better understanding amongst non-Indigenous and Indigenous students.
Most educators are white settlers who live on unceded, unsurrendered territories, especially in our province. And as white settlers, we are really afraid to do more damage. I think most teachers have the best of intentions, and they're really afraid that by bringing a First Nations culture into their classroom, they're afraid to do it wrong. Having an elder come into your classroom, it kind of takes some of the burden off of you. You don't have to pretend to be an expert, which most of us aren't. We can't bring anything but our worldview to the classroom. So having someone like Donna who has lived this culture and who has spent her life learning about and teaching this culture, it takes away some of that fear. It makes you feel more comfortable.
I knew the language was important, but I also knew there was other things that were important to the youth. And not just for the youth, but for adults too, because a lot of it was lost, especially the ceremonies and the spiritual aspect of the culture. So I had to learn a lot about the culture aspect of it and the traditional part of it. So once I learned, I tried to pass on whatever I could pass on and bridge that gap between the children and the elders.
It's the stories. She tells epic stories about everything in her past, present, and sometimes future. It's super cool, and well, she can say something and make a story about it.
Donna would share with us all these stories about like the Mi'kmaq culture and all that.
It's really fun. You can get out of class. You get to learn a lot about Native culture, and if you like that, well then, yeah, it's for you. Really like that opportunity to be able to talk about, my Native culture.
I like learning stuff that I haven't known before, and I like learning about like different cultures and how, how they do stuff different than us.
Just seeing how much excitement it brought them to be so proud of who they were, not only with the First Nation students, but with the other students in the class, because they wanted to participate as well.
The impact I see it has for the children, it's instilling pride in them and value. And to take that and run with it. Invite the elders from the communities that have that knowledge and to bring it in. So it'll spark that light within each and every one of us. It's not just for our people, it's for all. There's a lot of teachings that are involved. And like I said, what I share is just the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much to know and so much more lifetime to go.
We should introduce elders in the classroom because it has been a perspective that has been lacking in our schools for decades. This is something that has been oppressed and marginalized and completely excluded in the shadows of our school system, if it existed at all. And it is very important that these opportunities are given to our students to be able to promote a more healthy and better relationship amongst all Canadians, to be able to heal from our past of colonization. Reconciliation is crucial to the future success of our province and our country. And the Elder in Schools program offers that opportunity to our students as well as our teachers.
Our culture and our history is an oral-based tradition handed down generation to generation. So if you truly want to hear about our people, your neighbors living next door to you, the first people of this land, and if you want to honor the first people of this land, bring First Nations people in to talk about their culture, to share, to have the children ask the questions, and even the teachers themselves. A lot of teachers don't know, and so they feel good about it because you're talking to the students, but they're learning as well. And they don't want to admit that they've never learned this in school, but I know they haven't. Not the true history and the true culture of our people.
Teachers are inherently learners, so every teacher I know loves to learn, and to have Donna in my classroom meant that every week I got to learn alongside her. So every week I learned something new about the Mi'kmaq language or Mi'kmaq culture or other cultures across Turtle Island. So as teachers, we are always looking for opportunities to learn, and there's no greater way to learn than to have an elder come into your classroom. This should be a regular program in every classroom. Every student should have the opportunity to learn from and with an elder, to feel that respect, to feel that uniqueness and the gratitude every single week. And students, I feel that students in schools are really disconnected from the land and from the histories of this place, and I think that we can't fully understand who we are as New Brunswickers, as settlers, until we understand the full history of our area.
If I was going to sell this to another school or a teacher, I would absolutely tell them they have to do this program, because the amount of conversations, natural conversations that you're going to get from your students is above and beyond what you would get just from sitting talking about culture. They're in it, they're motivated, they want to learn about it. It just brings out a whole other side to them that you would never get to see in your students on a regular class basis. So talking about culture is not enough, you have to be immersed in it.
Children that are in those classrooms with those elders over that lengthened period of time are learning about Indigenous people in a positive way that allows for a better relationship between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples in our communities, which overall breaks down those barriers of mistrust, misunderstanding, and ignorance, and allows for more authentic partnerships and meaningful relationships to be fostered and seeds planted and grow from that, so that our communities can be happier, healthier, and collaborative moving forward into the future.
So here we are, 500 years later. We're still standing here teaching. We're sharing a different kind of medicine now. We're sharing that knowledge and that inclusiveness and sharing our culture. As they grow up together to become adults, they will see each other truly as brothers and sisters. Because even though we have different color skin and we have different cultures, we're still brothers and sisters, and we're still brothers and sisters sharing this land right now. So for me, it goes deeper, because when I was growing up and going to school, nobody ever came in to talk about culture. It was banned here in New Brunswick. For many, many years, we were made to feel as if our culture is not good enough. But my spirit always knew it's good enough.
If you would like to be involved in this program and you're an elder or a teacher, please reach out to me, Matthew Sweezy, at Anglophone School District North office.